In this video, I'm going to make the most ambitious, futuristic sculpture I have ever made. This video is brought to you by the Red Magic 9 Pro, who reached out to me and asked me to create something ambitious featuring some of the highlights of their new flagship phone, such as fans, LEDs, and a whole lot of futurism. And what is more futuristic than an intergalactically roaming spaceship? So I set about creating a design on a few angles so I have a reference when moving to creating it out of foam and other materials. Now this wasn't created without a reference. In fact, I came across this dance reveal video of their mascot, Mora, which featured this epic spaceship in the background. It felt like the perfect thing to bring to life if I was going to be ambitious and feature a whole bunch of technical and futuristic elements. So now comes the hard bit. I need to somehow transform this foam into this spaceship. So first things first, to follow my little template, I need to make a big template to get everything to scale and to create symmetry. Starting with a slice through the front of what will be the wing, mainly because all of it will be proportioned to the fans that I have. I have these little USB powered fans that I intend to break apart, but I kind of need to size the ship to fit the fans, which will make this project huge because those fans are pretty big and they're not the biggest part of the ship. Then using that as a guide, I start to map out the proportions of the profile of my ship, like a slice through the spine in the center, nailing down the proportions of the length and height of the ship and roughly where those details will go. Then with a middle spine chunk of foam cut to that same size, I use that to guide myself to create the proportions from the top down view so I can start to cut the layers of foam that will build up to build out the bulk of the body of the ship. I have the bones of the structure of my spaceship. There's a lot to go, but I can work from this as a foundation to start to fill out some of those gaps and then start to shave back to get the shape of the ship that I want, to get it into ship shape, I guess you could say. Editor, can we add a cheering audience laughing and clapping when I say that line? Thank you. It's going to be really hard to get a very smooth mechanical looking shape with all of these blocks. Like, there's lots of gaps and there's going to be a lot of stuff to patch up and fill and smooth later, but I'm really hoping, this being my first time trying something like this, that it's going to work out. Guess we'll see after the next step. So first off, I cut out the chunk that will become a windshield later, which then gives me the body proportions of the rest of the ship that I can trace and cut and layer after layer add in the rest of the bulk and the body of the ship. Now to adding some more of the detail around the wings of the ship, cutting out space for my cardboard cylinders, which will be where the jet engine and the fan will go, and then creating a top-down template that I can use to carve my wings out and stick those in place. Now it's on to figuring out these windshields. I start off by using the chunks that I cut out from the foam as a guide as I loosely cut a piece of paper to figure out what will shape and fill out an angled outer section. So my thought is that with these very roughly put together patterns, I can make the clear glass windshields for my ship. I did a bit of a test and it turns out you can melt clear acrylic sheets with a heat gun. So I'm hoping that this works if I can laser cut and trace these patterns accurately and then melt them into shape to fit my spaceship. It seems to be the right size. So now I need to put it into practice and hope that my acrylic windshield theory works. I'm hoping if I'm delicate and slow enough with my melting, I can gently work them into the shapes of the windscreens that I need. The windshields worked, huzzah! They're exactly what I need, which is great. So now it's on to finishing off some more of the core blocking of our ship. Specifically, now that I've got the windshields, I can shape the rest of the ship with those in context, carving away the bigger square edge chunks of foam to start to work towards a more sleek ship finish. This is the start, and it's in a really cool place. Like, the bones of what I've got to work with here are really working for me. So I'm very excited. Now this, as I mentioned, is inspired by a specific ship that was originally designed by this video sponsor, Red Magic. Now is a great time to tell you about the brand new Red Magic 9 Pro. If you're in the market for a new phone, or of course if mobile gaming is your jam, it is going to be hard for you to get past the power and value of the Red Magic 9 Pro. A high performance smartphone with up to 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage capacity, with a massive battery that can offer up to 56 hours usage. This is a 100% flat smartphone. No bump at the back for the cameras and no cutout for the camera at the front. But it still has the selfie cam, it's just hidden behind the huge edge-to-edge display. There is like no bevel on this thing. It has a really heavy duty and sleek industrial design with RGB strip light and a fan that you can actually see through the front cover that does a lot to cool this beast down when it's working hard. It has this sick button that you flick and it pulls you into a mobile gaming format immediately from phone mode. And Red Magic produce a range of accessories that take your mobile gaming experience to the next level, such as the Red Magic Shadow Blade 2. I played COD Mobile for the first time using this thing and was crushing everyone. The Red Magic 9 Pro is available starting from $649. Huge thank you to Red Magic for sponsoring this video. Go check it out with a link in the description. This phone is really well built and super futuristic, so I need to try and make sure that my spaceship is the same. To take this ship to the next level, I'm gonna pack it with LEDs. So I'm gonna make it messier before I make it neater, but hopefully it'll make it a lot cooler. Now the next step is to put all of the powered and electronic elements of my ship in place, starting off with digging big square cavities inside the cockpits so that I can embed my diffused panel lights. And to future-proof getting everything in place, I dig a big old cavity in the middle of the guts of my ship so that I can put all of the battery packs and all of the elements inside the ship later so that I can just be freestanding without cables running away or anything needing to be plugged in. Now onto the fans. I'm just using these computer USB fans, which I break apart to the bare bones and then Dremel down and create the front of the jet engines of my plane. Next, our first major exterior LED element, this top bendy LED, which I'm going to come and color later, but it is the perfect kind of light and shape for a really sharp, attention-grabbing line all the way across the wings. It's time to move on to the next major LED strip, this one wrapping from the side all the way around the front of the plane. I am so chuffed with this. Obviously the plane itself is looking pretty plain. It's very rough around the edges, but that's the next step. So the LEDs are done. It's so good. Oh, and how good does our little phone screen area look? It's literally just the phone in there. And it's perfect. Now I need to cover it all up and protect it because I'm about to get messy all over the surface of the ship. Now, all of the work so far has really been leading up to this point, where I need to actually make it look like a futuristic spaceship. Starting off by masking off and protecting all of my LED lighting that I've placed throughout the ship, then moving on to using this sicker fine surface filler all over my ship to try and create a smooth exterior ship surface. It was then a matter of sanding it all back to create the smooth surface I was after. This is a time-consuming process, but it's also the most satisfying part and starts to really clearly show the shape is actually working and it's all starting to come together. Especially with the next step, where I cut out all different sorts of shapes and greebles out of these thin green foam sheets and other things for texture here and there, giving that much more futuristic and industrial look. Once that's dry, go over the whole ship with a base primer coat to protect my foam from being negatively affected by all those aerosols I'm going to be using next. Look at it! Oh my god. Okay, now it's game time. I can remove the protection that I have over all of my LEDs, and then it's on to the final details that bring this whole thing to life. Starting off by lining the inside of my cockpits with aluminium foil to create more reflection inside there. Next, I'm going to softly sand the inside of my windshields. The light will bounce around, spreading more evenly across the windshield, creating this epic red glow from inside. Then it's just a matter of going throughout the rest of the ship and adding highlights and pops of detail and a few accents here and there so that my ship can well and truly blast off. But even as I'm starting to wrap up the ship, I want to take this project even further with how I present the ship to you all. I'm going to rewind a little bit, and you'll remember when I was designing it that I was referencing a specific ship from a video featuring Mora, who is actually the mascot of Red Magic and a very unique feature of the Red Magic phones. This is totally optional, but if you want to activate Mora as your companion on the phone, you can tap this little icon in the gaming mode screen and you're met with Mora, who you can give more features such as reminding you of certain alarms or when your battery is running out. You can even add her as an interactive character on your mobile home screen and lock screen. It is the most personality I have seen that comes with the phone. Is literally a character. She has a backstory and everything. So if we're bringing her ship to life, it's only fair that we bring her to life. So Murray's helped me out with this one and has used Hero Forge to create a bit of a base layer of a character with Mora's pose that he can work on. Having 3D printed that and using green stuff to sculpt the features of our character, it's then a matter of painting her to create a model to scale to stand in front of the ship I've built. Huge props to this awesome and insanely detailed paint job. Well done, Murray. But we're not going to stop there. We've got to take the whole scene to life. Mora, the ship, and the stage. From laser cutting the platform that Mora stands on all the way to creating an environment that can bring all of it together. Without any further ado, welcome to the future. One of those ones I need to take a big breath. Definitely one of those projects I need to take a big breath after. This was a huge undertaking and I'm so happy with the results. I was happy with the results before the lights turned on. With the lights on, it's just something special. And the fans, I'm really hot, but I've got like the best spot in the house right now. Huge thank you to Red Magic for sponsoring this video and a huge thank you to you for watching it. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. If you have, hit the like button and maybe subscribe for more surprising future art projects. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Ow, my back.